Hi, my name is Stephanie and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be a review and yes, I am filming with my two amazing cats. So I am going to be reviewing Giver Quartet by Lowis Lowry. I recently learned that 3 books followed The Giver, a book that I read and loved as a child, so I figured I'd give them a go. I was in a reading slump, and so some easy reading was kind of in the works to get me back. So let's just start with some basic information. I did read this as an ebook on my phone, and I got the ebook through my library, which is actually, this is the first one that I've gotten from the library, and I kind of really enjoy this cover, so I actually kind of wish I had a physical copy to show you. However, basic information first. The Giver was published in 1993, Gathering Blue was published in 2000, Messenger was published in 2004, Sun was published in 2012, and I read a whole collection of like all of them in one book. Published by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Publishing House. Technically, these books fall into dystopian science fiction. Some people really consider The Giver to be part of the beginning of that like dystopian genre. It is often put into YA, however, I would definitely say this is definitely pre-middle school, and as an adult, it didn't take long to read at all. Each of the books took about a day, maybe like a day and a half, and by a day and a half I mean like 2 hours. They're really short. They're really the writing is very simple sentences, short, easy to follow, and this really is because of the target age range. I'm gonna kind of go individually by book, although some of my issues with the books bleed into each other. The first book, The Giver, this one is the one I had the most feels about because I had read it as a child and I really remember loving it. I read it multiple times, however, I didn't remember it as well as I thought I did. This book does a pretty good job of describing and building the initial community we are introduced to, and this build-up though feels way out of balance with the conclusion. The ending feels rushed, and as you see, this is kind of a reoccurring theme with Lowis Lowry's writing and at least this series. The characters are a bit flat. Part of this though I put down to the community structure itself that pushes very even-keeled sameness, so I'm not sure if this was intentional or not. The Giver and Jonas also still feel a little flat, however they are, even though they are not under the same rules as the rest of the community. And I do wish that there was some acknowledgement, especially in the later books, that not everything about the society is bad. Her writing is very black and white, and that's a little frustrating because I think that middle school is the perfect age to really begin to introduce gray, as this is the age where a lot of kids are starting to form their own opinions and starting to really understand that gray exists. So I think that she could have pointed out that while the society does some horrific things, they also have some pretty positive things, such as like equal treatment of men and women, reuse of resources, and yeah, things like that. While the society is definitely very flawed, and I don't necessarily want to live in it, I do think there are parts of it she could have done a better job of painting as gray. The second book, Gathering Blue, this book was fine. what starts as magical realism in Giver with Jonas's gift starts to begin to feel a little like straight magic to me, and as we'll see in the third book, it just really does become straight magic. At least that's how I feel. Some people don't mind this edition, however, I felt that she went a little too far with a couple of the gifts, especially later on. It's not that bad in Gathering Blue, and I think the plot is fine. The characters still felt a bit flat, which didn't seem appropriate, seeing as this was a new community. If you're going in expecting book 2 to have anything to do with book 1, it doesn't. She does have a couple of things. She places women as nurturers and mothers, which is fine, but this is a continued theme through the rest of her books that we'll see, that all of the positive communities only put women as nurturers and mothers, and I don't think the communities do it intentionally. They don't force women to do this, but Lowis Lowry writes women as all nurturers and mothers, and we will also see this as a continuing theme. So in book 2, she does a pretty good job of showing that even if you have a different ability, especially physical ability, you can still be a productive and good member of society. And I think that's a positive message. However, we do begin to see that her cast of characters is very heterosexual white, and despite the fact that she pushes love and acceptance, there isn't as much diversity as I would like to see, especially in a book targeted at children. There is one young side character who does have a pretty good growth and isn't as flat as the rest of them, not as Matt, and I think he's a really likable character and was probably my favorite part of the book. Book 3, Messenger. I wanted to like this book because, as I mentioned, so book 3 comes a few years after book 2 and has a couple of the same characters. One of the main characters, Matt, from the second book, and the character I just mentioned, really liking. I don't mind him in this book, and he's still my favorite of the characters. However, he does begin to meld into what Lowry gives the lead good characters. They all tend to really seem the same. They all kind of run into the same person in when I was reading, and they all really feel very similar and too similar, basically. And Matt had been a little different, but now he's turned into the same character because he's a lead hero. I hated the ending of this book. I felt there was very good build-up in the community, and again, Lowry does a pretty good job of build-up, but the ending is rushed and unresolved. In Messenger, the end happens, and almost none of the characters that were involved in the build-up are involved in the resolution, and so this feels very disjointed, disconnected, and very rushed and cut off. So that brings us to the final book, book 4, Sun. And this book is broken into 3 parts, and our leading lady, Claire, I also really enjoyed her. She does fall into the issue of all her women are nurturers and mothers. However, I really liked her story. I liked her growth, especially in the first 2 parts. I felt that it helped that the magical realism wasn't really a thing in the first 2 parts because Claire does not have a gift. And I felt that some of the side characters had a bit more growth in book 4, and they felt a little more mixed and semi-realistic. The community is not portrayed as good or bad, but this is definitely just a community where people live, and that I liked as well. Because previously, all of the communities you kind of knew whether Lowis Lowry thought of it as a good community or bad community. This one is definitely mixed and full of normal people. Claire, despite like all that's happened to her, is a pretty strong, independent female, and I really enjoyed that. The third part is I almost quit reading. We see a character, a bad character from book 3 reappear in book 4 in the last part. And while I wish that she had made him an actual person, especially with the gift that she had given Gabe, because I feel that if she had made him a real person and if there had been a transformation, I would have been happier with the ending. But again, the ending felt rushed, resolved, and just solved by the magic that the lead characters have. Because that really is something that I struggled with in reading all of them, is that Lowis Lowry really relies on the characters' gifts and the fact that they have this magic ability, and that just solves all the problems, and I didn't like that. Overall, I did enjoy and have a good time reading these books. I really had fun because, especially with The Giver, because I have so many warm feelings for it. There are issues in them, and I wish more people would talk about the things that they didn't love, and a little bit of a sense of underwhelming that I got at the end of all of these, especially since I've noticed a couple of people have gone back and read them, and the reviews that I've seen are all, oh my god, I still love this book. I do. I still really like them. However, I have some issues, like with all books, nothing is perfect. I do like the overarching message of love and acceptance. However, so thank you for watching. Have you read this book like as a child? How did you feel about it then? Do you want to read it as an adult? Have you read it as an adult? Did you love it again? Did you read all 4? Have you only reread The Giver? Do you not want to continue on because of those feels? Let me know your opinions down in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.